So as a personal trainer, I get a lot of people that come in and they complain about being tired and not having enough energy just to get through the day and getting really fatigued after just a normal day. And so I tell them all the time that if you exercise regularly, you won't be so tired, you won't be so fatigued, you'll have more energy throughout the day. And they just kind of like, yeah, I guess. It's like they don't believe me, but the thing is, it's true. Science backs me up. I'm going to tell you about why. Hello, interwebs. Welcome to the Adventures of Bacon Boy. Today I'm outside in nature. Look, nature. It's beautiful. But yeah, so I get a lot of people that tell me that they get tired and fatigued throughout the day, but science says that if you exercise regularly, you will get more energy through the day. There's a couple of things to go through first. Let me find all the stuff for it. So the first thing is a study about the effects of chronic exercise and fatigue, a quantitative synthesis. And that's really weird, fancy talk. I don't know what was up with this. It's from posted to a psychological place in 2006. It's kind of weird. The abstract wasn't very informative, and I wasn't about to pay $12 for it. Yeah, its abstract wasn't very good. It was kind of weird. It didn't give a lot of their methods to it. So if you guys feel like paying $12, link will be in the description. You can read more about it. But essentially, it talks about how chronic exercise increases feelings of energy and lessens fatigue. So it talks about how chronic exercises increases feelings of energy and lessens fatigue compared to their controls. I have no idea what separated their controls from their controls from the ones that were testing the chronic exercises, because the effect varied based on the persistence and absence of their placebo. And so I have no idea what the placebo was. I have no idea what their control was. But that chronic exercise with another therapy helped even more. And so they also ended with more studies needed, and I kind of guess why. It's not the greatest, but it's a good way to intro. It kind of lays the groundwork that if you exercise regularly, you will get more energy, you will feel less fatigued. It doesn't exactly tell the mechanisms of why, and that's why I have more information, more resources. Next one is called the effects of endurance and resistance training on men and women in randomized trials. Randomized trials are a lot better because they take into account more variables. They're really nice. This one was concluded in 2001 and then first published online in 2013. I found the 2013 version of the article from the Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism. It basically deals with your energy systems and how much energy you feel throughout the day. Exactly what we're talking about. So they trained aerobic capacity in men, actually it was young women, not men and women, just young women. They trained aerobic capacity, of course, you increase that whenever you train it. And then they did strength training as well, which increased fat-free mass, which is muscle. Things you would expect. But what they found that was really interesting is that total energy expenditure did not change from the beginning to the end of the trial, even counting for the change in mass. Actually, for counting the change of mass, they made it no change. Which, if you know what total energy expenditure is, it's a combination of your resting metabolic rate plus the thermogenic effect of food plus the thermogenic effect of exercise. And those three can vary depending on various things. So the fact that they did not change from the beginning of the trial to the end of the trial is a little weird to me. There's more on that. That's for another video, another day. In their conclusion, they actually guessed because there was no change in total energy expenditure that changes in the perceived energy and perceived lack of fatigue that the subjects had, I couldn't think of that word, that the subjects had, that change had to have come from the total energy cost of each exercise, the direct energy cost of the exercise. And so basically, you understand this, if a person who doesn't move a lot, doesn't run a mile very often, you ask them to run a mile as fast as they can, it will hurt them a lot. It'll take a lot of energy for them compared to their normal day-to-day task to run a mile as fast as they can if they don't do it a lot. But if you ask a marathoner, somebody who runs 70 plus miles in a week, to run a mile as fast as they can, they'll do it pretty easily without at all really, maybe even not even breaking a sweat, because compared to what they normally do, the cost of running a mile is really low. And so that's what it's talking about. They increased the efficientness of of their bodies, of the young women, and it allowed them to do more with the same cost of energy. So instead of changing their total energy expenditure for the day, it just made it so that they can do more with the energy that they have. So if you relate that to your life, if you start working out along with going to work and doing all of your chores and whatnot, going to work and doing that will take less of an energy cost than it had before, because your body is capable to do more. So as much as it will pain you, you have to add on to it. You have to do more. And doing more will make everything else seem a little bit easier. Now, how long will it take in order to adapt to the new energy demands? So if you're doing it, of course, it's going to be a little bit tiring and fatiguing to start off. So how long until your body catches up? Because it's not an immediate thing. And by no means is any personal trainer going to try and tell you that if you go to one workout session, you're going to have more energy the next day. No, they're lying. If they are, don't go work with that personal trainer, because they're lying. You're going to be really tired and really sore the next day, and it's going to take a little while for you to catch up, because your body has to adapt. According to another study from 1976, it's old, but it's still what's true today. There's two types of adaptation that your body has to go through, and we know this from back way in the day. Hypertrophy is the first type of adaptation, which is changes in size, changes in strength. And then the second type is oxidative capacity, your ability to continuously do work. So kind of if you know a little bit about working out, you understand the difference between type 2 and type 1 fibers. Your fast twitch and your slow twitch fibers, and so this relates to it. Your muscles take time to adapt. Each one will adapt in a different way depending on what you're working out on, as well as what you want out of your goals. Talk to your personal trainer if you have one, or talk to an exercise specialist, or you can ask me in the comments below and I will help you learn to which adaptation you want, and as well as how long you'll expect to get it. Because another study about skeletal muscle adaptations during early phase, which is the first couple weeks of the program, they studied men and women. This was published in the Journal of Applied Physiology in March 1994. It was an 8-week program that they put around 100 men and women through. They did 3 exercises specifically: squat, leg press, and a leg extension. And their first change that they happened took 2 weeks. This is working out 3 times a week with them. It took 6 sessions in order for any noticing change to happen. And that first change was in the muscle fiber type in the women. It took 4 weeks for the men to actually find any changes in muscle fiber type. So that's muscle fibers, it's just changing between your ability to do strength and hypertrophy, as well as your ability to be kind of smaller but ability to constantly do work. That changing in the muscle fibers, the changing in how you can work, took 2 weeks to happen, according 6 sessions according to the way the study was held. How I learned it in college was a little bit different than that, because I expected it to be around 4 to 6 weeks before any changes, actually closer to 6 weeks, because the way we learned it, it's all before there is neuromuscle adaptation. So changing between your nervous system, talking to your muscles, is what causes the strength increases in the first 4 to 6 weeks, up to 8 weeks in the program. And of course it's shorter if you're more well trained before, if you're coming back from training, versus if you're just starting for a training program for the first time. So these guys are probably know what they're doing a little bit. And the next change was at 4 weeks, and their dynamic strength increases for both men and women, so their ability to just move more weight happened at 4 weeks. That was the first time that they were able to really notice a big change. Increased testosterone in men occurred at 4 weeks. They didn't talk about the female hormones, but of course, if you guys know, testosterone makes you manly. And then they decreased in cortisol after 6 weeks in the men. They didn't say it about the women. I kind of wish they would have said more about that. Again, links in the description. You could read through, see if you can find it. If I missed it, I apologize. But yeah, decrease in cortisol. Cortisol is directly related to stress. That is your stress hormone. So by having a decrease at 6 weeks means that they're actually feeling better. They are less tired, probably. They are less fatigued, as well as things around them aren't as stressful as they were before, because their stress hormone is dropping. Whether it be because of the exercise program or changes in their life going through the program, they are now probably at a lower stress level. Their conclusions were that early phase is similar in both men and women, and it occurs gradually. Keyword, occurs gradually. It's 2 words, not 1, whatever. So yeah, it takes a while. You have to understand, it takes a good amount of time. You have to keep consistent with it in order for it to be successful. Alright, next topic is stress. So as I hinted at, cortisol levels, they dropped after 6 weeks into the program. Understandable. So if you're feeling less stressed, are you going to feel less fatigued? Probably. Are you going to feel less tired? Probably. Stress makes you tired. So if you're feeling less stressed, is it because of the exercise? Well, if your cortisol levels are dropping, it probably is. So if you look at the relationship between stress and anxiety in this study and exercise, this was in a meta-analysis. I like meta-analysis. They take a bunch of little studies and then they combine them together and correlate all of their data. And so it gives you basically the averages of what's happening according to a specific topic, and it's really nice. It puts everything in one spot for you. So they found reductions in anxiety occur after 10 weeks into a program. This is, the subjects in the trials are telling them how they feel. It took 10 weeks of sticking with an exercise program, working at 2 to 3 times per week in order for them to really have a change in how they feel. So if you're stressed, stick with it for 10 weeks. It's going to be a while. You guys have to understand. It will happen, but it takes a little time. For a single bout of exercise, because yes, a single one-time going to the gym can actually help reduce stress levels as well as help make you feel better. Walking out of the gym all tall and proud because you hit a new max, you know what I'm saying? That took 21 minutes for anaerobic exercise in order for any change in how they feel to really take effect, to really affect how the person feels from before the exercise to after the exercise. But even though it took about 21 minutes in order for there to be a change, change in perceived anxiety and stress levels before the workout versus after the workout, they don't know exactly the minimum because it changed depending on the studies that were in it. The average ended up being, well, the lowest one ended up being about 21 minutes in order for there to be a difference. So they don't know exactly when it is. So that's something up to you, but as for the time it takes in order for it to consistently stick with the program, going in day after day to the gym, it takes time. It takes at least 6 weeks for the stress hormones to start changing, and it takes another couple of weeks after that, 10 according to this other study, in order for you to start perceiving those changes in your body. So just stick with it. The study was focused mostly on anaerobic exercise versus strength training, like the study I talked about before that. Conclusion: move around more, you get more energy. I feel like I'm being weird for saying that because a lot of people don't seem to believe me that if you move around more, it's easier to stay moving. Somebody's probably going to say, oh, that's just Newton's law of motion. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. It's kind of true. An object at rest tends to stay at rest too, and it happens for your body as well. Okay, so for this last study, I told you a bunch of reasons about how getting up and moving more will help give you more energy throughout the day, will help make you feel better. But if that hasn't worked, I'm going to read you a quote that will hopefully give you a reason to not stay sitting and to get up and get moving. Okay, I quote: "The average non-exercising person may become more metabolically unfit in the coming years if they sit too much, thereby limiting the normal high volume of intermittent non-exercise physical activity in everyday life." Non-exercise physical activity basically means standing instead of sitting, walking to lunch instead of driving to lunch, kind of little things that you do to get yourself moving a little bit more than when you normally wouldn't. Kind of stuff. Back to the quote. Thus, if the inactivity physiological paradigm is proven to be true, the dire concern for the future may rest with a growing number of people unaware of the potential insidious dangers of sitting too much, and who are not taking advantage of the benefits of maintaining non-exercise activity throughout the day. Guys, move more. That came out in 2007, and that's still true. So if you want to be healthier, you want to get more energy throughout the day, you need to get up and move. So I hope I got you to get up and move, gave you reasons, I gave you science that backs it up. If you don't believe me, my links are in the description. I've said that like 3 or 4 times now. But other than that, have a nice day. See ya.